Good morning. My name is Gemily Perez, Communications Specialist with the Harris County Fire Marshal Office. Thank you for joining us on a press conference on school safety and the continuing actions Harris County is taking to ensure our students return to the school safely. Today's speakers are going to be the Harris County Fire Marshal L'Oreal Christensen and Harris County Precinct 3 Commissioner Tom Ramsey. We ask that you hold any questions until the end of the press conference, and with that, I will hand it over to our Harris County Fire Marshal, Lori Christensen.
Hello, and thank you for joining us this morning as we discuss Harris County's active role in school safety and returning our children to school this fall. We really want to talk about the preparedness and the response of all the stakeholders related to our educational community. As one of the primary resources for Harris County Commissioners Court, I would like to acknowledge their support, the support of our law enforcement members, our fire service members, and our EMS members, and in addition, the teachers and the parents in our community on the safe school return. Over the summer, there's been an enhanced focus on integrated public safety, response, and joint training. A lot of that you've heard about is called ALERT, the active attacker integrated response. We have worked on that for years, but in addition this year we've actually increased those efforts. The Harris County Fire Marshal's Office is a life safety resource for schools and our partners in the unincorporated areas of Harris County. We are the authority having jurisdiction in the unincorporated areas, but we work with our partners, our law enforcement, fire, EMS, our fire marshals, and all of our school districts in Harris County. We want to be a resource to get them to the authority they need, whether it be their fire marshal or their groups. Our office is a norm. We inspect schools within the unincorporated areas of Harris County. We attend these school safety committee meetings, and you've heard a lot about the risk managers and those folks that put together the emergency action plans. We meet with them regularly to assist them in preparing their emergency action plans. We also attend law enforcement, fire department, EMS meetings so that we can engage and ensure good communication. We can ensure response. And part of that emergency action plan is how we're going to respond to an emergency. As the County Fire Marshal's Office, our accessibility to campuses really makes it a lot easier for us to go in and check not only fire and life safety systems such as fire alarms, sprinklers, emergency exits, our lighting systems, our locks, to ensure the safety of those who are inside and as they come into the facility, how we can ensure that they lock properly. To accomplish this, we do require that schools notify us when they start making changes to their systems. Over the summer, we have seen 6 campuses, new campuses come on board, and in addition, we've had over 16 campuses that have done some remodels. And in that, our inspectors are in there ensuring that it also meets the Fire and Life Safety Code, because we want to make sure that, yes, the locks work properly, but that also we can get people out safely as we need to. Due to the tragedy in Uvalde, our office has reached out to all districts within Harris County. We know that they are working diligently to ensure they meet the governor's intent and the letter that was sent out, that there's certain things they have to meet a criteria by September 1st. We are working with them to ensure they can meet that. We've actually pulled in additional inspectors from our other teams to go out in the field over the summer to work with them to ensure they're able to meet their goals. In addition to state fire mandated drills and the other drills that come along with that, we work with the ISD emergency managers, and that's a big part of what we do. The emergency management aspect includes the unified command process, includes the response process, how we're going to ensure that if something were to happen, that we can all work together and respond to that. Several of our employees are actually alert instructors, and we've been working with our local law enforcement groups, fire departments, and EMS on the integrated training with our ISD police departments, our teachers, and those staff members that are working in the school districts to ensure they have everything they need, the training and any of the equipment and discussions that they will need. The partnerships with all of our law enforcement agencies, EMS, it's critical. The communication piece is one of the most critical parts of what we do. It's about building those relationships before an event occurs. It's about knowing those first responders before an emergency occurs. And we're building those relationships through the communication processes. We've actually had numerous meetings over the summer Obviously coming out of COVID, we know that a lot of us have changed in our districts. We've had a lot of turnover, and so now we're making sure that we're engaging again in person and knowing each other. We strongly believe at the Harris County Fire Marshal's Office that a comprehensive emergency plan for every school is critical to the safety and success of any event that occurs. I want to encourage that all parents or guardians talk to your school. Make sure you understand, do you have an emergency plan? Have you had a fire and life safety inspection? Because it's going to take all of us, as parents, as grandparents, as guardians, to make sure that we are working as a team cohesively to make these things happen. Having a school that meets the compliance of fire and life safety codes, we haven't had a death in a school from a sprinkler system, or because of sprinkler systems. We haven't had a death in a school since 1958 because we have sprinkler systems, fire alarm systems, and drills. And so that's why for us, we believe that having that comprehensive emergency action plan, working together as a community, we're going to be able to save lives by having these conversations. Harris County Precinct 3 Commissioner Tom Ramsey will now speak more on the latest back-to-school efforts.
Thank you, Chief. It is a pleasure to be here. I need to start off with some acknowledgments, some thank yous, if you will, on the Safe School Commission. My first thank you is to the Humble ISD. We are in an amazing elementary school this morning, Centennial. I get the good pleasure of visiting with the superintendent, with the assistant superintendent, with the principal. Always makes me a little nervous when I start talking to the principal, but she is here and does a wonderful job. The Humble ISD chief is here. So this is a good setting in terms of to discuss the Safe School Commission. And I need to give a big shout out to them. Now they're coming out with the report, the Safe School Commission report. That report is going to be out in a couple of weeks, if not before. They're finalizing the details as we speak. And that Safe School Commission was set up for one reason. That's to listen. Because when things like Uvalde happen, sometimes we try to come up with solutions without listening. We come out with trying to figure out how to do this without listening. Well, let me tell you about this commission. Now, this was unanimous support by Commissioners Court, and I absolutely acknowledge Commissioners Court for having the, I think, courage to step up and say, we're going to do something different. So each commissioner, each of the 5 people on court, including the judge, appointed a person to this commission. Now listen to the commission. This is who the commission is, which we will begin to report soon from. The first is a student, Sammy Bagg, high school student, and that's the judge's nominee. So we have a student's perspective. Then you have a teacher, Tracy Lazon, and Tracy Latson. She's a teacher at Meyerland, and she makes me want to go back to school. She is a wonderful, energy-filled person that brings great ideas. Then we have a great leader, Dr. Elizabeth Fagan, Humble ISD. She is just on top of it. I would consider her an expert in many ways. And then you have a Spring Branch ISD trustee, Lisa Andrews Alpe. So you have a superintendent, a trustee, and then you have a parent, Caladranda Simpson Kemp. She's a mother and member of Moms Demanding Action. So you have a mom there. These folks have gotten in the room. They've left the politics at the door, and they simply are trying to establish a new standard of care for these schools as they open up in August. And I've gotten a glimpse at it. It's fabulous, and I'm going to acknowledge again Chief Christensen and what she does with all the school districts, because she's been doing this since 2004. Since they set this up under the Fire Marshal's office in 2004 to go into schools, to go there and work with. And we also are working with Julia Andrews. She's with the Harris County Education Department. they too are tasked with working with the different school districts. So the resources that are there for the school, for these 5 people to get in a room and say, we want to be sure we get this right. We want to be sure that the standard of care when we open up our schools in August, private schools, the 25 independent school districts in Harris County, that all of them are doing at least a minimum amount to be sure that our kids are safe. So I'm excited about what's coming down the pike. Yesterday at Commissioner's Court, I asked that we consider taking ARPA money and using that to help support schools on the mental health side of this. Again, I got complete support from Commissioner's Court to do that very thing. So we'll be pursuing ARPA money to address mental health issues, which is one of many. I think the chief referenced communications that's going on within the police officers and the different officers involved with policing the schools. Those have been all separate meetings, but again, resources that are feeding back into. So they've looked at facilities, they've looked at the mental health issues, they've looked at training in terms of the students, in terms of the teachers, in terms of those attending. So I'm excited, I'm encouraged that when we open up school in a couple of short weeks, that we're going to have a better opportunity to be prepared for what might happen and at least give parents, give children, give students that assurance that everybody's doing everything they know to do to make it safe. So with that, I guess we open it up for questions, or is there any other? Is that it? Okay. Well, you want to get any closing remarks?
Well,
Chief?
I would like to say this. Again, I want to just, as Commissioner Ramsey said, I do want to set out a shout out to our partners that are working diligently to ensure the communication piece of working together, fire, EMS, law enforcement, school districts, because it's going to be about that unified command system that we all bring together. I know we work very closely with our partners here in Humble. I know Chief Cook and I, for years, have worked together on our emergency plans, and I just want to encourage everybody to know that going back to school, our kids are going back into Harris County schools. We have met over the summer. We're ready, and we look forward to it. Thank you.
Okay, thank y'all.
Thanks for being here.
Hey, Chief.
My pleasure, sir.
Good to see you. All right. Can I get the principal in there?
Yes.
Mic test, testing, 1, 2, 3.
The police here are from the school district. It's Humble ISD Police. Can I text that to you?
Yeah, what did you say? What was the first sentence you said? I had
That
my
it's
earpiece in.
Humble ISD Police and not City of Humble Police. What's your number?
Oh, yeah. 713 410 6539.
69.
No, 65. Sorry. 6539. 9.
I'm gonna text you right now, so and then you'll be able to, if you have any questions, you reach back
Yeah,
out
if
to
you
me.
want to put each person who spoke's name in there, that would be ideal.
Sure.
Greg.
Great, okay.
Hey Greg, I have you. Hey Marcelino, I have you on speaker here with Greg, your camera guy.
Okay, hey Greg, I was just calling you. I thought you were in the middle of it. Sorry.
No, I'm on the, my phone's on the call, on the Zoom call.
Okay. Could you? Are you with the commissioner? I just wanted to see if you could ask a couple, 2 questions for me for my story.
He's listening. He's listening as well. So go ahead.
Okay, Commissioner, thank you for taking a few minutes.
Sure.
Working